Hello, this is Tip Top Gaming here today with another Commander 2019 video. Now in today's video we're going to be going over the top 10 most expensive cards in Commander 2019. Now, obviously some of you aren't going to go out and buy the Commander 2019 pre-constructed decks because pre-constructed decks aren't your thing, or you just don't like them. But there might be cards within them that you really like. So why don't we just break down what cards are the most expensive. Number 10 is Chainer Nightmare Adept. What you'll notice is that a lot of the most expensive cards are the new legendary creatures. So right after the 10 most expensive cards, I'm going to go into the top 5 non-legendary most expensive cards. We have Chainer Nightmare Adept. It's a 4-cost 3/2, and it lets you discard a card. You may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Activate this ability only once per turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste. It's a pretty decent card. It comes in at $8.29, which is not bad, saying you are getting 100 cards, and this is in the Madness deck. Next, we have Volrath the Shapestealer. This is it's a 7/5 for 5, and at the beginning of your combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter up to one target creature, and then you can pay 1, and Volrath becomes a copy of a creature with a counter on it, except it's a 7/5 and can turn into other things. And this is $14, so if you notice, it's a giant price jump. Next, we have Dockside Extortionist, which is a cent more. It is this is the only not legendary to make the list of top 10. It's a 2-cost 1/2, and when it enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control, not you control, opponents control, and it's a 1/2 for 2, which I think that is really good. We have Promicon Sky Rampart, which is blue, red, white, or American colors, or really lots of different colors. Legendary creature wall, flying defender. As it enters the battlefield, choose left or right, and then each player may only attack the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. Again, it's $17.01. It's a pretty fun card. I don't know how it would work as a commander. I'm sure it would be really fun. However, if you're running this commander, you have to be very careful who you sit by and kind of control that a little bit. So it almost takes a little bit of pre-planning before the game even begins. Then we have Marasi, Breaker of the Coil. It's 1 red, green, white. Your opponents can't cast spells during combat, so basically no combat tricks for your opponents, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, goad each creature that player controls, which means until your next turn, those creatures attack each combat if able, and attack another player that's not you, if able. However, if it's just you and that other player, they will attack you, so that could be a disadvantage. Rayami, First of the Fallen. It's a 5/4 for 4. It's $17.56. And if a non-token creature would die, exile it instead with a blood token on it, counter on it. And it has all keywords of creatures exiled that are normal. No like set specific ones, but like flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, and vigilance. It's interesting. It doesn't fit well in the deck it's in, but I think it's a really fun commander. Elsha of the Infinite. This is a 5-cost with Prowess 3/3. It's $19.08. And you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You do not have to reveal that. It's just look at it at any time. You may cast the top card of your library if it's a non-creature, non-land card, and you may cast it as though it had flash. Pretty good card. Mix it with Prowess. It's the better commander out of the flashback deck. We have Atla, Palani Nest Tender, which really surprised me because this is Egg Tribal, and I'm sure a lot of people are, oh, this is really fun. It's a 4-cost 2/3, and you can pay 2 and tap it to create a 0/1 green egg creature token with Defender, and whenever an egg you control dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card, put that creature onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So if you can put something back on top of your deck, like an Emrakul, it just goes right on the battlefield, and this could theoretically be turn 5. I mean, it could be before that, even because you're running green, so you are running Ramp, and Soul Ring could also help you there. And so this card, I think, is crazy. It'd be a fun commander to build around. You probably have to run some Morphlings, and then some just really big creatures. As well, I mean, I guess she's self-contained. You could technically just run her, because of the 2 costs, pay 2 and tap. Next, we have Kadena, Slinking Sorcerer. This is a 4-cost 3/3. It's the commander of the Morph deck. The first face-down creature you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast, which generally means it's free. And whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So basically, each turn, put a morph creature from your hand on the battlefield, upside down, and draw a card. That is awesome. If you can make things have flash or cast things at instant speed, it's even cooler because it's each turn, not just your turn. And that's $24.64, which at, I guess, MSRP, which they removed, that is a huge amount of the price of the deck. So this is kind of crazy. Now, of course, these prices will fall after the set actually comes out, but for now, these are what they are. And they'll relatively stay in the same order unless something is found out, like about a new card that, like, allows it to rise up. Then the number one most expensive card is Kirik, Son of Yawgmoth, which is 4, and then 3 black Phyrexian. And for those of you who don't know, Phyrexian can be paid with either black or 2 life, and it's a 2/2 with lifelink for $28.48. However, whenever there's a black and a cost of a spell or ability, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. So it basically replaces all symbols with black with Phyrexian black. And whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Kirik, Son of Yawgmoth. This is in the Hatred Madness commander deck. It can't be the commander of it because it's only one color, but it is crazy. It's only a rare, and it's the most expensive card in the set. So that's pretty crazy. Now let's get into non-legendaries. Number 5 is Full Flowering. It says populate X times, XX green, and it's $4.31. For those of you who are like, well, that's not very good, and that'd be like opening a booster pack, you'd be getting 31 cents plus all the other cards. But remember, you're getting 100 cards, so that's not bad at all. Number 4 is Tempt with Discovery. Search your library for a land card and put it on the battlefield. Each opponent may do the same. For each opponent who searches their library this way, search your library for an additional land card. That's not what it says word for word, but that's what it does. This card is really fun. The more players you have, the more fun it is. Now, this does... you can get any land card. It doesn't have to be a basic land. You could get theoretically, you could get fetch lands and then crack the fetch lands, get more lands, and, you could do all this stuff. You could get, a lot of people, what they do is they do this fun combo where they make all land swamps, and then there's this land called Cabal Stronghold, which lets you, basically create tons and tons of mana. And so this card is part of that. However, if you're playing against it, I always recommend you turn it down, unless you really, really need mana, but even then, it's generally not worth it. Next, we have Solemn Simulacrum. I don't know why I can't say that. It's a 4-cost 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library, and when it dies, draw a card. I've heard this before, like people using it. I didn't see why it was so good. I see in certain scenarios it's good, but overall, it's just a pretty good card. Then we have Lightning Greaves. This is a pretty good card. It's a 2-cost equipment, and it has an equipped cost of 0, which is crazy. And equipped creature has haste and shroud. So basically, when you have this on the field, you basically give one creature, haste and shroud. And since it's an equipped cost of 0, you can switch at sorcery speed, you may switch what's holding them to get rid of the shroud effect. And then the number 1 most expensive reprint that's not legendary, Seedborn Muse. Untap all permanents, not just lands, not just that, during each other player's untap step. Unlike a card like Wilderness Reclamation, where it only untaps lands and it's only at your end step, this does it at each player's upkeep untap, and it does all permanents. So if you can find a way to cast spells at flash speed, you essentially get a turn. You get to take your turns during another player's turn. The only thing is you can't activate Planeswalkers, which there is a Planeswalker in each one of these decks, so that could actually come up somewhere. But there is no flash speed in these decks either. Either way, I think the Morph deck is looking the best. It has Kadena in here. It has some of the more expensive reprints. I think the Morph deck is going to be the most valuable, the most powerful, a lot of stuff, and the most fun in my opinion. So why don't we run through these once more? So we have Chainer, Nightmare Adept, Volrath the Shapestealer, Dockside Extortionist, Pramikon Sky Rampart, Marasi Breaker of the Coil, Rayami First of the Fallen, Elsha of the Infinite, Atla Palani Nest Tender, Kadena Slinking Sorcerer, Kirik Son of Yawgmoth, and then for the non-legendaries we have Full Flowering, Tempt with Discovery, Solemn Simulacrum, Lightning Greaves, and Seedborn Muse. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please hit that like button and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.